Space, the final frontier. Space Station Ashland sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Dilamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dilamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek Preservations.
Welcome, travelers. My name is Lee Wanika, and this is Star Trek Preservations. And I am joined by our amazing cast taking on their roles on board the Dilamus Christian.
Hi, everyone. This is Joe Harney. I play Captain Sabian Tobor, the Joint Trail Commanding Officer of the Dilamus Christian, a Sabre-class Federation starship.
Hi, I'm Adam Scaramella, and I play Commander Ocean Jazilra, the Dilamus Christian's Andorian First Officer.
Hello, I'm David Rideout. I play Lieutenant Commander Avidian Tanari, the Chief Engineer of the Dilamus Christian. And as a public service announcement, I just want to say Will Wheaton is a gift to the geek world.
Hi, I'm Lacey Knutson, and I'm playing Lieutenant Narilyn Nealon, the Science Officer of the USS Dilamus Christian.
And without further ado, we're going to jump right into this episode.
Captain's Log 58581.98. Our current patrol route has been calm and without incident, just as it should be. We're en route from Ashland Station to the Xindi colony of New Xindis, conducting routine scans and maintaining Starfleet presence along the corridor. It's a welcome change of pace, and the crew is genuinely looking forward to the checking in with the settlers. There's something grounding about seeing a community thrive after so much history. For many aboard the Dilamus Christian, New Xindis represents hope and renewal. It'll be good to see the colony firsthand again. For many aboard, New Xindis represents hope and renewal. It'll be good to see the colony firsthand again. In the meantime, our science department has used the quiet to begin scheduled calibration tests of the new quantum scale sensor array. I'm eager to see the enhanced clarity of these upgraded systems can provide and the long-term benefits they may offer for future missions.
As we begin, we are 2 weeks after the end of our last episode. And the Dilamus Christian is en route to New Xindis. You have your one new crew member, intelligence officer, part of the security team, Lieutenant Kiera Thanev. She has been on board for about a week and a half at this point. Has her quarters, is set up, has been busy showing the ship, taking on new duties, that type of thing. We are opening in media res, right as the captain is completing their log. And Lieutenant Nealon, you will be in the lab, and it is dealing with the sensors. So you would be the one who assigns the two people that are working, two science officers who will be working with you on this endeavor. Which two would you like to have join you? You do have a sensor operations specialist, the crewman, so an enlisted person, Basil Pasek.
Seems like a good choice.
And then you would have Ensign Rakoff, your Tellarite sensor officer.
Perfect.
Additionally, Lieutenant Zenev is present. In addition to their intelligence officer duties, they also have a history of being a scientific protocol auditor.
You said Tenov?
Yes.
Okay.
That is our new security person, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I imagine that things are a little tense with me.
I would think less tense, but more awkward. And it may be tension on your side, but it's just there's a lot of awkward pauses and silences.
Yes, yeah. But I'm going to move forward with business as usual, the best that I can, because I'm working on being a professional crew member on the ship.
Absolutely. We'll pause there. I do need to know where everybody else on the cast is at this point while this routine experiment during a routine mission, while everything is just doing what it does and what they might be working on at this time. And I'll start with the captain. What would you be doing at this point?
Well, first off, I need to know, where are we in the day? What shift are we on?
We are first shift. It is 11 o'clock in the morning.
All right, then I'm probably either in my ready room or in my quarters doing paperwork. Let's
Okay.
go with, it's 11, close to lunch. I'll go in my quarters.
Okay. And is there any particular activity you'd be doing at this point in time?
I'd be doing routine captaining paperwork.
Okay, sounds good. And Commander Ocean.
I have the bridge at this time.
Okay. Any particular activity you're engaged in while being on the bridge? Obviously, there's the administration of the ship.
Yep.
Things come in, you respond accordingly, all of that. But is there any, again, the undercurrent of what's happening with this mission is it's beneath the capabilities of the Dilamus Christian. You swear at one point, partway through the mission, you heard DC actually groan with boredom at some point because this is such a mundane, routine patrol route that's traveled that there just isn't ever anything that ever happens in the history of ever. Your crew is currently falling into two camps. Either happy for the break, because you guys had a rough last year, or, man, I'd rather be doing something more exciting than this. The only folks that are really excited about anything on this particular leg of the mission are the scientists who are doing the sensor work, because they've actually got a job to do right now. Everybody else is maintaining.
There would be some minor conversations that I'd be encouraging. Just not banter as much as the conversation around the bridge crew, that this is the group that is always together between 7 and 3. So there'd be things that we're talking about, catching up on what somebody's family might have been reporting that they were doing, or just general conversation. Nothing too specific, but just general sort of office water cooler talk.
Yeah.
This is the day crew. I'm with these people on a daily basis. These are the people that I would know the most about their home lives, and not their but their backgrounds and whatnot.
Perfect. I didn't mention it earlier, but this particular mission starts with 2 threat per player, so we're starting with 8. And I'm going to have you roll a presence command roll. Basically, casual conversation. Without it being the stated goal, it is more to raise expectations so that level of boredom and complacency doesn't set in. People are just engaged more. And as they interact with the rest of the ship, that can hopefully carry on to others. Okay. 0 difficulty task. It's effectively similar to the rally action, I would say. There, it's just being narratively described slightly differently than that.
Sounds good. It was insight and command, which would be a 12 for me. Yeah, so I'm just looking at, no, I would not. So I have a 6 and a 20. 1 success and potentially 1 complication.
Okay. You do get a momentum, and your complication is The bridge crew is definitely engaged, but you do get a sense that the crew is complacent. So I'm going to apply, without complication, the complacency trait, which
Okay.
means the crew, and I already accepted the science department in general, is going to have an increase of difficulty of 1 to any task that they roll and or the ship is engaged in, based on they're just not engaged. They are so bored with this mission that everything is just a little bit more difficult to get it done because they're dusting the cobwebs off every time they go to start pressing buttons. It is right at that moment that the lights on the bridge dim, then flicker, then dim, then flicker, and then turn back on. Stavin turns in their chair and says, "Sir, Sensor Lab, they're requesting immediate assistance. They're reporting equipment behaving erratically and a partial loss of internal containment on the experiment."
Okay. So how much do I know about what the experiment is?
You would know a lot. Basically, they're doing enhancements to the sensors in a test environment, which are designed to pick up quantum level signatures in a way that they haven't been able to do so far. It's more sensor upgrades, and the idea is if the ship can fine tune on a quantum level better, that should, in theory, make the ship sensors better overall. It basically gives you a wider array of things that you can see, and so on and so forth. It also is to test a few separate experiments that are on a quantum level. Other than the way it engages and some of those other things that are being tested, it was not considered to be a particularly dangerous or concerning scheduled set of tests.
Okay.
Obviously, all tests have some level of risk, but this seems a little bit more significant if it did the whole power drain several decks away.
All right. And you said that Parsec and Devoni are already the ones that are engaged in this experiment?
No, it was Drakov and the sensor crewman, Lieutenant Nilan, and then Tenev are present. Everybody else is at other places.
Okay. And they're not giving really any other information other than we've lost control of the experiment.
That's what is being reported to you. You didn't actually hear that message. That's what Stavin is reporting to you in this. That's the information you have as of right now.
All right. If that's the case, I need more information about this. Bridge to Narilla.
Narilla cannot respond.
Okay.
Stavin says, "Sir, I'm not reading the lieutenant's comm badge on board."
Okay. Lieutenant Kim. Get to
Deck 4.
we have a situation with the experiment that's going on. They are non-responsive.
Yes, sir. I'll get down there immediately. Will we need a medical team?
On it, yes. So
Confirm. Kim will get 2 other security individuals and we'll head down there.
All right.
She will get Ferguson and Wankum, assuming that they're the ones that are available right now.
Okay. It's an emergent situation. You can get people pretty readily.
I will tell Stavin to get a hold of sickbay and let them know to be prepared for something. We don't know what yet.
Aye, sir.
As soon as that is done, I'm going to contact the captain. Zilra to Tobor. We have a potential situation with Neelan's experiment. We're unable to reach them. I already have security checking it out. No further information yet. So I think we have somebody at operations. I think that's Varric. I'm going to direct them to run system checks on all systems, like full diagnostic at this point. I want to find out if there's anything else that's going on. Find out what caused the power outage, the power fluctuations. Or at least what we have in the logs for it.
We will have Varric do that roll shortly. I will note that everybody on board the ship saw the dimming, flickering thing, and then the report came in moments afterwards. So Tobor, probably just as you're about to ask, hey, what's going on? You get the call, because all of that took place very quickly.
Yeah, I'll meet them on deck 4.
Great. And we are going to flip to Lieutenant Nealon. So, Lieutenant, you and your group, including Lieutenant Tenev, find yourself in a very odd and strange environment. The surface you're standing on looks and feels weird. You don't appear to be on ship. Things floating around. You are able to breathe, but it's just a very strange environment. There are a lot of giant floaty things around. It has this weird color scheme to it, and it's just bizarre and strange looking. And you're noticing just shapes and objects floating about. In this situation, you don't know how long you've been out. You don't know if you've been out. It felt like instantaneously, but everybody's pulling themselves up off the floor. You have only what you're wearing and whatever equipment appears on your character sheets, things that were in the room near you, just the things that would have been on your character sheet. And as you're looking about in this bizarre and strange environment, the last thing you recall is you're engaging the sensor on the various experimental objects to collect readings, and you hit one of those objects, and that's where you all saw this weird light arc back to the sensor device. Like, it doesn't emit light to do its sensor work, but when it engaged and you're watching monitors, you can see that as the sensor wave hits it, and you actually watch some kind of visual light spectrum, showy, sci-fi, special effecty, wobbly nonsense roll back to it in slow-mo. As you are about to react, everything goes white, and then you wake up in this strange environment. What would you like to do?
That's what we love in the science department. First, who is here with us?
You have with you Lieutenant Tenev. You have Ensign Marv Grakov. And you have a crewman first class, Basil Pazak. Basil is a human, and Grakov is a Tellarite. And Tenev is a human Betazoid mix.
I will, as quick as I get my bearings back to some extent, look at my 4 companions in this madness. I want to get a sense if everybody is as shook as I am, using my empathy or ESP, whichever is more applicable.
I think empathy would probably work best in this particular case. And that's a general feeling, like that's not a role specifically. Remind me on the rules on that, because that's one I always forget in the moment.
The wording is that you can sense emotions of most living beings nearby and communicate telepathically with other empaths and telepaths, as well as those who you're extremely familiar. I actually didn't remember that wording. That actually might be something we should look into in the future. But it may require effort and task to pick out emotions of a specific individual in a crowd or to block out emotions. Increase the difficulty of the task if the situation is stressful or if there are a lot of beings present, if the target has resistance to telepathy or other relevant factors?
So in general, I would say because this is a bit of a stressful situation, this is going to be a difficulty of one, more because of the nature of the situation, and you can roll to see if you cut through that difficulty.
Would it be like an insight something?
You're looking at emotional state, so I would say probably insight medicine.
Okay.
Or if you're looking for readiness, it might be insight security. I could see that as an option if you're looking for readiness from a threat perspective. It could be that also, but really your call as far as which department you think most applies.
I want to get the gauge of if everybody was taken by surprise as much as I was, or if somebody saw this coming, that kind of thing. Maybe they look a little less surprised because they had either some sort of indication that was going to happen before it happened or something else.
In that particular case, I would say it would definitely be an insight security.
Okay. And can I buy a dice with momentum?
You absolutely can. There is one momentum.
Okay, so my insight security is a 14, and I rolled a 3 and a 10 and 11.
That's 3 successes. That would give you 2 momentum, and you got 3 successes. Give me one moment because there is somebody who is not letting you in. They are not spending anything. You sense there is a bit of resistance from Lieutenant Tinev, but they, whatever passive blocks they have were not quite enough. They are not making an effort, but there's just a general defensiveness from Tenev towards you. As far as the actual specific nature of your question, everybody is pretty shocked. Nobody has any idea where they are or what's going on.
Okay. So that's good. We're all starting from the same place. So I guess I'm going to make sure everybody is okay. Nobody seems injured. The way you described it made me feel like I was not injured.
No injuries. You just ended up lying down and wondering what's going on.
All right. So make sure that's the case with everybody and then investigate what's going on.
All right. Looking about previously described, this is something where I think a reason science will give you more clues about the environment. Your difficulty with this investigation or kind of eyeballing this is going to be a 3. However, you do have the folks around you who can help you. This is where you get to vocalize, hey, we need to figure out where we are and who is going to assist you with this, or who would you ask to assist you?
I would probably ask the person that I work with most often, which I imagine is probably either Gorkov or Pazda. But I will verbalize it openly that if anyone has ideas.
So he will assist, and your role, Lacey.
All right. So you said reason science. Can I buy a die with threat?
You absolutely can.
Bold science. I feel like this is the time for bold science, if there ever was a time for bold science.
Sure thing. All right, you got it. Go for it.
No, I probably should ask before. No extended complications or anything?
Not at this stage. You're just observing. You can't make anything worse by observing. And I think the only complication would be you get down a wrong line of possibility. If your observations lead you to a bad conclusion, that's the only complication that's really at stake at this stage.
All right, so I got 4, 5, and 18, so that should be 2 successes.
All right. You're not sure where you are, but you are convinced that some of these floating objects and things are very small structures. If you were small enough to perceive a molecule the size of a car, you would know what a molecule looks like. you would know what a water molecule looks like, so you could see that. If you were small enough to recognize the difference between nuclei and the nuclei of an atom and its various parts, you would be able to, you could visually see them because you've seen the models, you know what they look like. What you are recognizing now are similar structures on a much smaller scale, a quantum level scale. So it is as though you have shrunk. And I'm rolling, that is an 18. Grakov was not able to assist on the initial roll, but where certain folks have certain skills involved, you can certainly, once you've given your conclusion, then they can fold in what they've got with that. So what do you say to the team?
This is very strange. It feels like we have shrunk much smaller, but I can't tell if we're in a different space or what space we could possibly be in.
Tenev says, I've done a lot of work with quantum research, quantum level research, and I think we should be fine and are likely to be in our relative position as long as this ship stays at its current relative speed. If the ship changes its relative speed, we might have some significant challenges. And with that, we close out Act 1. At this stage, we are in Act 2. You have 2 momentum at this point. Actually, before I do that, Lacey, in your environment, you do have momentum you could spend to get a question asked. Is that something that you would like
Actually,
to
in
do?
fact, as a science officer, I assume you said everything on the character sheet, including her tricorder.
Yep.
She gets the 1 question for free as a science officer.
True.
You
So
look
you
like
get 1 question for free, and you have momentum that you can spend as well.
okay. I want to know what. I know this is a big ask, so I doubt that this will be an ask, but what part of our experiment could have ended with us having a quantum shift?
Your quantum shift is guaranteed to be an interaction between the specific experiment that was being looked at, the warp speed you were at, the actual subspace environment you were traveling through. Now, we're not talking a distortion. It's basically a series of factors that all coincided in this one moment. Any one of those things not on, this likely would not have happened. But I would say it also means that there is some serious work that would have to be done to this sensor upgrade in order to avoid other or similar accidents. So you now have information that knows this should not be done unchecked. There are some safety protocols that are going to have to be engaged. That's that much what you're able to determine just based on your deep knowledge of the experiment, what you're observing, and where you now think you are. You're convinced that for whatever reason, as you were shrinking, whether it be some kind of internal gravity or some other force that you're not aware of, as opposed to ending up wherever you were standing, have been drawn closer to each other as you were shrinking and ended up in relative position as you were in your large state. So you're not, there's no way for you to have been where you were standing and be as close as you are.
They would have
So
been miles apart had they just shrunk in relative place, right?
Yeah, if you'd shrunk in relative place, you more than miles. It could have been tens of thousands of miles, to be honest. Maybe it's an incongruity with your mass as you were shrinking. If you maintain similar mass as you were shrinking, you would have created your own gravity, which could have drew you all in. All these other factors could be an issue. But you're now, here you are on this quantum level, and you've got these quantum level structures that are floating around in air, and any number of them could be threats.
I have other questions. Can I spend momentum to ask questions? How much momentum do we have that I can use?
You have two, so you've got two questions.
Okay. I feel bad if I use all the momentum. So the first question is, do I think that there is any way to communicate back with the rest of the ship? And a second but related question, which I think I know as a player, but Narilla wouldn't know, is did this happen to the whole ship or just the science department?
So we'll tackle the first question. Based on what communication should be possible, but you have to find the right way to modulate your frequencies.
Okay.
There may or may not be challenges on the receptive end based on you having to modulate to get the signal out and what they perceive when they receive.
I think that Tanari could figure it out though.
And to your second question, and I would say because you only had two momentum and we're at the end of the scene, you buy one, you might as well buy the second because that one would go away anyway. As far as do you think it's just you or the whole ship? If the whole ship shrank with you, you would still be inside the ship.
Okay.
So most likely, unless you shrank at different times. Now, if you shrank at different times, you'd technically be in different spaces, but that would mean that ship is moving at warp 6 away from you. Because if you shrink at different times and you're not inside the ship, it's gone and you're in space.
Okay. So we're probably okay, but also could be a complete disaster, which we all die in a horrible death.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
With that, we come back from the episode's break and we see the captain and the security team at the door to the lab. There is a light indicating that there is an issue in the lab based on the report that was done. Stavin set a quarantine signal, so it's sealed except for security and command officers.
Flip open my tricorder and start scanning the outside, the lab, and the door.
The outside looks fine. Everything outside seems absolutely fine and safe. What would you like to do next?
Any readings from inside the lab?
Yes, please. That's going to be a difficulty 2. And with your tricorder, do you have any relative side that might assist you with this particular role, Captain?
One of my previous hosts was a quantum specialist in quantum mechanics, so I am, as a joint trill, I will get the relevant focus.
Okay, and I will grant that only because you were aware that the experiment was involving quantum signatures.
Indeed. In fact, I also did the reading talent, but no momentum to spend yet. But I was reading up on the experiment as a narrative justification for my talent use later.
Sounds good to me. All right, and like I said, difficult.
And let's see. What do we want this to be? Reason science?
Sure.
I'm going to buy another die with threat. And roll 3. 5, 5, and a 13, so 3 successes.
That will give you 1 momentum. As far as what you're able to determine, the conditions inside seem normal. You are detecting residual energy from the experiment. It's basically a cadmium decay process, and it seems to be decaying at a more rapid rate than it would normally decay, according to your tricorder readings. But none of that is harmful at the levels where it's occurring. You're just noticing that the decay rate is accelerated from what would be standard. But everything inside seems fine, but there are no life signs inside.
All right, I'll issue the command override to open the doors.
And the door's open.
Then I'll step inside, tricorder to ready, and
Actually, security will step. Sir, let us go in first. Make sure it's safe.
I wiggle my tricorder, and I'm like, Fine.
As Lieutenant Cam was saying that, one of the security guards was about to place their hand on your shoulder and held up as Lana Gate made the statement. You responded, and then he nods, and they go in first. Takes a mere moments. Clear, sir.
All right. Get out of the way.
I enter, and I start proceeding to do more detailed scan, sweep, looking for anything out of the ordinary.
You do notice that the device is still on and operating.
Security will take a look at it from more of a forensic perspective, just in case there's any foul play.
We'll do that investigation, and we'll do the roll in just a moment. Your difficulty in this particular case is going to be a 2. Your complication rate is going to be a 19 and 20, simply because things could make the leads you get go awry, not because you would do any damage. And Tobor, you're doing some more scans.
Well, while they're doing like the physical forensic thing, I'm with my tricorder. I'm connecting to the device via Star Trek Bluetooth and checking the logs of the machine, what happened, and collecting the data I'm going to need to be able to puzzle together what happened.
Okay. I'm gathering that data and picking up the critical parts. Difficulty is going to be a 2. Again, because of the nature and the specific nature of this issue, the complication range is going to be extended. So you both have 2 difficulties. You both have 2 complication range, 1 complication range, so 19s and 20s. Dave, if you'd roll for Alana.
Okay. Is this something I'm going to be able to get the ship to assist on?
Not at this time, no.
All right. How about one of the other security team members?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I will spend a threat for an extra dice.
I was sure you would.
Oh, insight security?
Sounds
That's
good.
some reason. All right. 13, 7, and 19.
All right. So you have your complication, and
Can we go ahead and roll the assist?
yep,
Have
let's
someone
roll
roll
the
the
assist. Yep. Adam, would you roll that assist?
Sure will. No, it's going to be a 17.
All right. You notice that the device seems to have been jostled, but you're unable to determine if that happened before or after the incident,
Okay.
based on what you have right now. If it was jostled before, it looks like somebody bumped it and could have created the problem.
Note this out loud.
And immediately, one of your security guards goes to a workstation on the other side of the lab and calls down security protocols so they can start reviewing footage. It's a science experiment. Clearly, things are going to be recorded. So he's looking into those recordings, trying to, based on timestamp information. So he'll report back what he's able to see shortly. Captain Tobor.
All right, I will spend the 1 momentum that we have right now to get an extra die for my reason science to connect to and look through all the system logs and try and determine what happened.
Okay. And yep, and you have your difficulty of 2, your complication range of 19 and 20.
A 3, 8, and 7, so that's going to be 4 successes.
All right. 4 successes on a difficulty 2 is 2 momentum.
Yep.
No complications. You're able to confirm pretty much, although you don't have access to her information, you're able to confirm it looks as though the sensor device seems to work over the first couple of objects they were pointed at. Gathered that information properly, recorded, but when it hit that 3rd experimental option, something in that, the aforementioned cadmium, decayed in a strange way, causing an arc back of that signal. That arc back seems to have caused a flare of the sensors, and that flare seems to have impacted the entire ship in some fashion. However, the ship's structural integrity fields, and the alloys involved in the actual hull and internal sections of the ship shielded everybody outside of the room from the primary impact of what took place. And it seems to have integrated and impacted living matter differently than anything else. So you'll notice that the two experiments that had living matter, one was amoeba, protozoa type things, they're gone. You'll notice the plants are gone. And the slightly more complex, there's an insect or whatever, like an ant type of thing, the various levels. Basically, anything that was made of living matter, mushrooms, living matter, gone. All of those things disappeared. But anything that was mineral or a container containing energy or whatever, they remained. It's just that that cadmium energy source created this strange interaction.
Got it. So I generated the bonus momentum from patient. So I'm going to spend that one first to. Is there a connection between the cadmium decay and the cycle frequency in which all of the light systems flickered throughout the ship?
Yes, that cadmium decay is slowly returning to its normal decay rate. That seems to indicate some kind of ticking clock. Everything will be back to normal in that time frame. That time frame is roughly 30 to 40 minutes. Might have to do some extra work to fine tune that time frame though.
So I guess, and if this needs to be another momentum, by all means, when you say return to normal, do you mean in 30 minutes they will pop back up, or we have 30 minutes to rescue them before they are lost?
Yeah, that's going to cost you some more momentum.
Yeah, I'll spend this next one.
Yeah, you got 30 minutes to fix the problem, or they're gone forever.
All right, and then I'm going to spend. So I'm going to spend one momentum and one threat to create an advantage that we have essentially we have the information. Like I have the data, the decay rates. I know what's going on, right?
Okay.
They're trapped in some sort of, they got caught in some sort of quantum backlash and they have been reduced to some subatomic size. So something similar is all right. Comm badge, Captain Tsunari. I need you in Science Lab 1. Bring your finest scanning equipment you've got.
Yes, sir. I'll bring everything down immediately.